Thanks for tuning in to Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson. I hope you're still protecting yourself from COVID-19 with some of the measures now relaxed a little. Let's maintain our resilience as a people to overcome this pandemic, which seems endless. On the show today, government demonstrates that resilience with technology support for the education system. Plus, we help you to get rid of those nagging critters known as mosquitoes.
Do you own land and need a title? Well, the National Land Agency NLA can help. Through the systematic land registration process, the NLA will assist residents to get titles in declared project areas across Jamaica. Systematic land registration is the methodical and orderly registration of parcels of land in a designated area known as systematic adjudication area. For further information on the systematic land registration process, including declared systematic adjudication areas, who can apply and the benefits, visit the National Land Agency's website at www.nla.gov.jm or email asknla@nla.gov.jm. The National Land Agency, one goal.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, July 22, 2021. Prime Minister Andrew Holness will inform the nation next Tuesday on what revised measures will be implemented to control the COVID-19 infection rate, which is on the rise again. He told Parliament on Wednesday that the uptick in new cases, as well as the transmission and positivity rates, may be pointing to the early stages of a third wave. Since the introduction of more relaxed measures, which are set to expire on August 10, the Prime Minister says daily case rates have been going up, so too the ratio of test samples that come back positive and the transmission rate.
Based on the early warning signs that we are seeing, the COVID Subcommittee of Cabinet will be meeting this weekend to review the situation to consider whether there may be need to tighten some of the measures in advance of August.
The Prime Minister also stressed that while the Delta variant of the virus has not so far been detected on the island, we must brace for the possibility, as this is now the dominant strain globally.
I want to urge all Jamaicans to exercise extreme caution. This is not the time to become complacent. I want to reinforce the need for everyone to be vigilant about observing the protocols and keeping ourselves and each other safe.
He says procurement of the gene sequencing machine is almost completed and should be in the island in a few weeks. This will increase the country's ability to test for the different variants of COVID-19. In other news, government will be placing greater focus on the development of rural communities. Prime Minister Andrew Holness made the commitment recently, saying a rural development strategy has been created and is being utilized as an integral part of the economic growth plan. This is being done through the rural electrification program, the expansion of agricultural roads, improving access to water, and providing internet connectivity. Mr. Holness says the rehabilitation of rural roads will be a major plank of the strategy.
It is something that the government is aware of, is sensitive to, and is trying its best to provide the resources to address these roads. This is an example of the government's effort, and we are doing roads like this throughout the municipalities.
The Prime Minister was speaking Friday as he opened the rehabilitated Gall Road in St. Mary. It was completed by the St. Mary Municipal Corporation at a cost of $5 million. While in St. Mary, Mr. Holness also handed over 40 tablets and a printer to 4 schools in the parish. The devices were issued under his Positive Jamaica Foundation.
I want you to use these devices not as toys, not to play games. Yes, children will play games, but I also want you to use it to expand your knowledge, because this is how ultimately we are going to develop our rural communities, when we increase and improve the educational performance of students.
The Transport Ministry is moving to make all driver's license tests digital. Director of the Island Traffic Authority, Knut Heer, tells JIS News that the move is expected to come into effect by the end of this year. He says it will allow for results of the road tests to be generated instantly after completion.
Jamaica will be the dominant motor vehicle department in this region. And we are ensuring that we are in alignment with modernity and best practices, and we intend to be in accordance with the government of Jamaica digitization policies. We intend to ensure that our operations are digital, right? So we want persons to have easy access and easy result.
He says the Island Traffic Authority is also equipping itself to execute night road spot check operations in collaboration with members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Residents of Almond Town in Kingston are the recent beneficiaries of 50 garbage disposal drums under the National Solid Waste Management Authority NSWMA's Drum at the Gate initiative. The agency's Director of Operations, Aretha McFarlane, says this forms part of efforts to address the issue of improper storage and disposal of solid waste across the island.
We want the central Kingston and all communities right across Jamaica to stay clean. So we are issuing you with your own drums. So you have control over your receptacles, don't it? So your garbage don't have to be littered all over the place.
During the handing over ceremony in the community on Friday, Ms. McFarlane reaffirmed the NSWMA's commitment to doing weekly garbage collection. Over the course of a year, Hardware and Lumber will donate 200 drums to the initiative. And finally, the Forestry Department has embarked on a pilot program to make its seedling production process more environmentally friendly. CEO and Conservator of Forest Ainsley Henry says the project aligns with the Ministry of Environment's ban on single-use plastics. It also complements the department's ramping up of seedling production in support of the National Tree Planting Initiative.
Currently, we are testing biodegradable bags in our nurseries to eliminate the use of single-use plastics from our tree production. We're confident that in addition to eliminating the single-use plastic bags, this will also enhance our customers' successes in their tree planting efforts, as they will no longer have to remove the seedlings from bags before planting.
Mr. Henry has revealed that the department is also reusing materials from an old nursery to build additional shade houses at its facilities. Up to June 30, the agency had distributed and planted more than 650,000 seedlings under the National Tree Planting Initiative. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Practice good hygiene by washing your hands frequently using soap and water. Here's how you should do it while conserving water. Turn on the tap to wet your hands, then turn off the pipe. Lather your hands and the tap with soap. Turn on the tap and wash your hands, back, front, and in between fingers. Use some of the water to wash off the tap, then turn it off. Dry your hands with disposable hand towels. If you don't have running water, use a hand rub containing 62% or more alcohol. If hand sanitizers are not available, rubbing alcohol, Dettol, white rum, or household bleach will do the trick. And if all else fails, let hand washing and the handling of potable water be a two-person event. Each person will take turns pouring and washing hands with sitting water. Now is a good time to consider installing a tap on your containers to reduce the risk of water contamination. Faucets can be easily attached to drums, buckets, or 5-gallon water bottles. And to ensure that the outside of the containers are clean when recapping, disinfect it with hand rub containing alcohol that's 62% or more. The 5 R's of water conservation are also necessary to practice. Reduce water wastage by investing in water-saving devices.
Reuse water at least twice before discarding. Replace leaking pipes, faucets, and other plumbing equipment. Recycle wastewater and use it for gardening, car washing, or cleaning of public spaces. And reclaim water through rainwater harvesting. We all must play our part to ensure there's water to combat the coronavirus and stave off prolonged drought.
Have you noticed an increase in mosquitoes since the recent rainfall? Have you been doing anything to stop the breeding cycle in your community? Well, here's a reminder of some of the places to look and then destroy those breeding sites.
Mosquitoes are undoubtedly annoying, with their irritating sound and stinging bites. But there are more compelling reasons we'd rather not have them around. Several species are carriers of diseases and a threat to human health. Of most significance to Jamaica is the Aedes aegypti mosquito, known to transmit dengue fever, chikungunya, yellow fever, and the Zika virus. Only female mosquitoes bite, doing so to get the blood they need for egg production. And therefore, only female mosquitoes transmit these viruses.
The Aedes aegypti mosquito is what we call a timid feeder. So she's easily disturbed when feeding. It means that in one night, she may feed on several persons before she takes her complete blood meal. Each time she feeds, she secretes that substance. And in the secretion of the substance, the pathogen is passed on. So in one night, one female Aedes aegypti mosquito is able to infect more than one person.
The female Aedes aegypti mosquito is a prolific breeder.
One female Aedes aegypti mosquito is able to lay up to 200 eggs each time she lays her eggs. So one mosquito can populate an entire area.
The lifespan of the mosquito is around 3 weeks, and the entire cycle from egg to adult can occur in as little as 7 to 8 days. Female mosquitoes are ready to mate within a few hours after reaching their adult stage, and males are usually ready within 24 hours.
This mosquito prefers cleaner waters. For the female mosquitoes, she will lay her eggs in water, and for the Aedes, it will be water which is in and around the household.
So while there are a number of things we can and should do to prevent being bitten, the most effective way to prevent the spread of diseases by these mosquitoes is to prevent their breeding.
The Aedes aegypti mosquito is a mosquito that breeds in a containerized environment. They do not breed in rivers and drains, but they breed in containers that can be found in and around where persons dwell. So come with us and let us show you some of those breeding sites. This is a typical dish drainer that we find in most homes. And under most dish drainer is a tray that collects the water that comes off the dishes. And believe it or not, we have found breeding in several homes in these dish drainers. Yes. You can see that we have water that has settled. If this water does not evaporate quickly, it can lend itself to the breeding of the Aedes aegypti mosquito. So you not only have to empty the dish drainer, but you have to scrub to remove those eggs. This is the typical saucer that we will find under a plant. The rain has recently fallen, it has collected water, and right now it is steaming with the Aedes aegypti mosquito. Do you have some of these in your home? Aedes aegypti prefers water that is a little bit on the cleaner side, and it's found in a shaded environment. So what should we do with something like this? It's quite simple. You need to throw away the water. And if these containers are not being used, you have to keep them turned down so they're not able to collect water. If you have them under your plants, we ask that you bore holes in them so that it will not collect water. Do you have these in your homes? We find these in a lot of hotels and business places. And we ask those persons, check these bird baths or any ornamental things like these you have in your garden to ensure that they are not breeding the Aedes aegypti mosquito. There are things like this thrown down in person's backyard
old equipment, old furniture, old fixtures that are taken from homes, especially during construction. These are also able to hold water. And if they're holding water and sit for a while in the environment, they will also breed mosquitoes. And so we have found breeding in wheelbarrows, in old refrigerator, in old sinks such as this one. And we ask persons, if you're throwing out these, please ensure that they are positioned in such a way that they will not collect water.
Many persons, when they do have their drums, most times drums do not have any covers. So there is a mesh cover which is so designed to replace the missing covers. It is lightweight, and what we do is just simply slip it over, and the mesh is so designed mosquitoes will not be able to go through this mesh to get to the water. So this is the ideal way. One of the benefits also of this mesh is that even when rain does fall, water will go right through it. This is a typical example where this we have is a plastic drum, and we have a metal cover here which is not designed for this. Whilst in some practice the intent is good, there may be occasions in which it does not fit or sit properly, and as a result you still have openings where mosquitoes can go right through and breed.
The mosquito is breeding right there in some very small places right around where you live. What is the habit we want you to develop? Once every week, search for and destroy the breeding sites of the Aedes aegypti mosquito.
I am Delroy Chuck, Minister of Justice, and with the support of the European Union, we intend to build a first-class justice system. The contribution of the European Union to the Jamaica justice system is enormous. We believe that this partnership with the European Union has been beneficial to Jamaica, and we hope that further assessment will demonstrate that the partnership between the European Union and Jamaica is one that has not only been game-changing, but will continue in the years ahead. The most significant achievement, in my opinion, was the Court of Appeal. Before the Court of Appeal was rebuilt, only 7 judges could have been appointed. Now we can appoint 12 judges plus the president of the court, and this will ensure that at that level in the Court of Appeal, cases will move expeditiously. It will set the tone for how we engage in backlog reduction.
Learning digitally is a method that will remain part of our education system as long as COVID-19 continues to be a threat to social gathering. And so the government is making sure that our students have the required devices and technology support system to facilitate this new norm.
Laptops, tablets and smartphones are a few of the devices being used by students since they transitioned to online learning from the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic in March 2020. This has prompted the government to accelerate its Tablets in School drive. The Ministry of Education has projected that by the end of the 2021 school year, approximately 122,000 devices will be distributed. The most recent vehicle through which these tools are getting to students is the Serve Jamaica Digital Device Program. $329 million is allocated to purchase digital devices for needy students under this program. These are individuals who have not benefited from any of the government's previous initiatives.
The government is aware of coverage gaps and hence the strategy of employing a variety of complementary distribution mechanisms to reach the target population with appropriate safeguards to prevent waste and duplication.
Members of Parliament and councillors are to identify 100 students from each of the 63 constituencies.
Once the devices have been procured by eLearning Jamaica Limited, the Ministry of Finance and Public Service will make payment to the supplier directly by instruction from the Accountant General's Department.
The program is a collaboration among several government ministries, namely Finance, Education, Science and Technology, and Local Government. The partnership also includes eLearning Jamaica, members of Parliament, and councillors in the municipal corporations island-wide. MPs will be required to fill out a designated form with beneficiaries' information and submit this to the Constituency Development Fund, CDF. The same is required for councillors, but this process will be managed by the Ministry of Local Government. Meanwhile, the CDF will facilitate the required administrative procedures in constituencies. That includes providing the standard form to MPs, which should include the names of students, their school, grade and registration or school ID number, as well as instructions regarding deployment and collection of the devices.
The CDF will provide the data on intended beneficiaries submitted by members of Parliament to the Ministry of Education. The Ministry of Education will in turn check the list of intended beneficiaries submitted by the CDF against the database of beneficiaries under the Ministry's various other digital device programs to avoid duplication.
The Education Ministry will then approve the list of beneficiaries and submit this to eLearning Jamaica.
eLearning will procure the device, and they have already started that process. They'll deliver the devices to members of Parliament with a list of the same list that the Member of Parliament provided, which has all the beneficiaries. It has those approved by the Ministry of Education, along with a space for the parent or guardian to sign indicating receipt of the digital device.
Following the distribution, MPs and councillors are required to return the signed forms as evidence that the approved beneficiary has received the device. The Finance Minister says procurement has begun and the learning tools will be available in August for the new school period. It's important to note though that the Serve Jamaica Digital Device Program does not replace existing initiatives by the Ministry of Education.
It cannot replace it. This is a smaller program in size. It merely complements and supplements the larger central government initiative.
The Serve Jamaica Digital Device Program, a subset of the $60 billion social and economic recovery and vaccination program for Jamaica, helping to lay the foundation for Jamaica's recovery from the learning loss caused by the coronavirus pandemic.
I love waking up every day in this country. This is where I was born and raised. I have such a passion for my country, and for me this is home. In Jamaica, a lot of people, they look at just like beach, sea, sand, but our mountains are something to behold. It's majestic up there, and it's a different type of peace. It's a different type of lifestyle completely. I could mention many different places that are amazing, but the one thing I do love about Jamaica as well is that you can find that relaxation, you can find that chill in your backyard. Apart from it being an incredibly beautiful country, an incredibly beautiful island, we have a wonderful, wonderful culture, wonderful, vibrant, colorful people. There is definitely a realness to Jamaica. There's definitely something that no matter what keeps you in touch with reality here. Why come to Jamaica? It all comes back down to Jamaica as a whole. The food, the music, the culture, the people, the climate. Come out and meet us, come out and experience what Jamaica has to offer.
Voting is now closed and the winner of the festival song competition will be announced later today. But until then, here's a reminder of all 12 songs that brought out the richness of our people, culture and country.
So people have no fear. Unwind. Everybody. Unwind. Free up your body. Unwind. So you can wind up. Unwind. Come make we jump up. And in the ear when you jump in wood.
Now when a nice like Fountain, now when no sweet like me, I like Jamaica. Now island Jamaica.
When Senorita dash out the rumba, hey, bump around with the looks of the rumba.
Real talk, no one no better than yard. Real talk, real talk. Yeah, me love my little island bar.
Me love Jamaica, my land. Yeah, me love Jamaica Island. Roast couple fish, breadfruit I am. Sure, breadfruit I am.
Land we love, Jamaica the land we love. Our motto, Jamaica one people, so we ever stand in love.
Out in Jamaica, everybody want come a yard. In my Jamaica, worldwide straight from abroad.
This is a new day, and I'm thankful for another chance to win. I am a fighter, a survivor, and I'm never giving in.
We Jamaicans, Kalawawa, Adawi, Ivy, and the city can be ragga. One people, many nations, where the black, the green, and golden celebration.
Follow me, build a better policy. Listen to me lyrically, make me DJ positively, and build a great community for family and friends, and build a better future for the children there.
How you feeling, my people? How you feeling? Throw your hands up, jump and touch your ceilings. How you feeling, Jamaicans? How you feeling? We celebrate down a yard, yeah, we mean it.
This is where our journey ends, but only for today. Do join us again tomorrow when we'll bring you another informative program. In the meantime, stay connected via our website, jis.gov.jm. And while you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via Twitter at JIS News. You may also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire team here at the JIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson saying thank you so much for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.